Alright everybody, welcome back, and I'm going to get y'all a brief overview of every jet we have in Hornet Sting, at least as of time of the dev server. I'm going to start off with the SE-30SM because they needed their new top tier the most, and this thing has a lot of stuff going for it. The biggest thing of which is this is the only flanker that Russia has, well, fighter flanker at least, that has a good radar. This is a PESA radar, which means in War Thunder that the TWS is absolutely insane. So the actual scan speed itself isn't that much faster than a normal one, but once it picks something up, it'll actually update its position every 0.1 seconds. You can see the little jiggle on the little radar lines right there. Yeah, that's because it's constantly updating it. This means it has some incredible tracking ability when it comes to guiding in missiles and stuff like that, and it's also just a much more reliable radar overall. And it gives you much more situational awareness because you can actually tell exactly what the target is doing at any given time. This pairs well with the new R77-1 missile, which you see me using in the background. If you like doing BVR, this is going to give you a better chance than the normal R77. It's basically a straight upgrade over the normal R77 with an extra second to burn time and also more thrust during that time as well. Guys can also lower the drag coefficient, but the missile is longer, so I'm not sure if it actually has less drag. This gives it actually more straight line range than the AMRAAM now, but if the target maneuvers, the AMRAAM is still better and doesn't lose all of its speed. Another nifty thing, in the bottom right of my radar screen right there, I don't know if you saw, but it actually told me that what my radar is looking at right now is an F-15. This is the first jet in the game that can identify targets with its radar. And if you play Sim, that's a really big deal, and even in RB it can be useful. I mean, if you want to know exactly what you're shooting at. Other planes should get this as well. I know, for example, the F-15 has this system, the Eurofighter has this system, I believe the Rafale as well. Gaijin most likely will start rolling this out to the other jets as time goes on. You may have noticed that I haven't said a word about the flight performance so far. And I mean, that's because even though it does have these fancy thrust vectoring engines, the flight performance really isn't that great for Air RB. The meta really prioritizes having good acceleration and speed while also having energy retention. And while the SU-30 is plenty fast enough, it does not have good acceleration or speed. It's, I kid you not, over 2 tons heavier than the SU-27S with the same maximum thrust. This means that in every flight regime where you're not using thrust vectoring, which, remember, that's going to be almost all of your time in Air RB, this is a straight downgrade over the other flankers, except for like the SU-34. The thrust vectoring comes in at those super low speeds, and if you do it, you're going to get one chance, and then you are stalled out, and you have like no speed left. If it's the last guy on the enemy team, you could probably thrust vector around, just keep your nose pointed at them while you fire all of your R-77s, but if there's anybody else nearby, you are going to make yourself a sitting duck, even if you do manage to get the kill on them. It's still incredibly funny being able to do maneuvers like this, though, so I am looking forward to trying to pull some stuff off with it. Up next, we have the other major addition of the update, which is the Hornet family, and they're actually adding 4 Hornets this update, 3 American and 1 Swedish. Now, the one I'm using right here is the F-18A. This is the Tech Tree one at 12.7. There is also an F-18C early that right now is at 13.0. It was set on the dev stream, they're moving it down to 12.7, so that's probably going to happen. It'll be the same BR as the F-18A and Air RB. Now, difference between the F-18A and the F-18C early, for Air RB, it's basically just going to be the Sparrows. Unless something changes, the F-18A maxes out at the AIM-7M, while the F-18C gets the AIM-7P. The 7P right now isn't a big deal. Assuming they change it, it should be a Sparrow that has lofting, inertial navigation, and data link. So kind of like an R27ER Sparrow that also has lofting, if that makes sense. If you're looking to get the Hornet for casts, though, there's a very big difference here. Even the Hornet that I'm playing right now at 12.7 would be very slow. I couldn't get past Mach 1.05 on the deck loaded, and even at altitude, I was struggling to break Mach 1.3. And the hilarious thing is, based on some of the charts that I've seen, it's actually too fast on the deck compared to what it should be. You do get the AOA mode, which I'm trying to use right here, and instead fumbling my full reel control, but honestly, I don't really see much use in this. The Hornet already bleeds a ton of speed even without that. I mean, like, look at this right here. And, and turning off the AOA thing makes it go even faster. So, most of the time, I would not recommend using that. There's also the F-18C Late, which is up at 14.0, which has a bit better engines and better thrust-to-weight ratio, but is also a little bit heavier by about 400 kilograms. You do get access to that hilarious 10 AMRAAM load, but it's just too slow, if you ask me. I would still very much say the F-15E is the meta American top tier jet. 8 missiles is already more than enough. It's also going to have twice the countermeasures that the F-18C will have, because right now it has 60, but it's supposed to have 120, and that's going to get fixed at some point. Also keep in mind that right now the F-18 has too much ammo for its 20 mil as well. It does have a decent cast loadout as well. Personally, I would probably still say that the F-16C is better, but if you want to use the SAT Mavericks, this can carry 4 of them, unlike the F-16. The Finns also get a Hornet as well, which is the same thing but worse. It gets no air-to-ground ability and no HMD. The HMD might change. I doubt the cast is going to change at all, though, unfortunately. Something I am very excited for, the J-11B. China is now getting a new flanker as well, and if you ask me, I think this is actually going to be better than the SE-30SM, although of course that does remain to be seen. First of all, it's actually already lighter with more thrust than the SE-27SM, and to make it even lighter, it's the first Chinese flanker with a digital RWR. Of course, it also has a MAS system, and it can carry 6 PL-12s. Now, don't get me wrong, 12 R-77-1s is a better kit than 6 PL-12s. PL-12s are great all-around missiles, and they do have better energy retention than the R-77-1, but just being able to spam that many missiles is good. At the same time, though, I don't really find myself needing more than like 6 radar missiles, so I don't think it's that big of a deal personally, and I would rather have the better flight performance they get the J-11B. Another new missile that's coming is the PL-8B, and right now this thing is very much not finished. It's just a copy and paste Python 3. Assuming everything goes according to how it's supposed to, this thing is going to have an absolutely cracked motor, because we do actually have some stats for it. I ran some tests comparing it to other missiles, and basically every other short-range IR missile it blows out of the water. IRCCM-wise is supposed to have similar to the TY-90. I have a feeling, I hope, they're just going to give it, AIM-9M IRCCM. Even without the TY-90 IRCCM, if they give this thing the right motor, it is going to easily be the best IR missile, for short range in the game. The last thing, it should also have a much better radar than what it has right now. I'll just keep that in mind. At the moment, it's placeholder. It's just the same radar as what you find on the J-11A and the normal SE-27s. It's supposed to be more similar to the J-10A's radar, is my understanding. Just an all-around great flanker, unless you desperately need to have 14 missiles. Although, personally, I think that 10 is fine. Italy has another Tornado coming, which right now has literally nothing. I can tell you it's going to be an attacker. That's just about it. I have no idea other than that, really. And last but very much not least, we have what I think is going to be my new favorite Rank 8 Premium, which is the new Israeli Netz Premium. We already have the Block 10 Netz in the tech tree. This is supposed to be a later version with the Block 15 tail. It has the exact same weight and the exact same flat model in game, so nothing is different there. And the armament for air-to-air is the same at Pythons, but the big difference is you actually get 3 times as many flares. They go from 60 to 180 countermeasures. The countermeasure load was the only thing I didn't like about the Block 10 F-16s, because 60 countermeasures kind of really isn't enough anymore at 12.7, and this fully takes care of it, while still having the best F-16 flat model that you can get. You'll be able to play this thing like a rat, going around and slinging Python 3s at everybody, and of course you also dunk on Hornets. I hope they go ahead and give us a tech tree counterpart. There's actually a thread you can go to talk to on the War Thunder forums about this. If you ask me, they could simply just go ahead and make the tech tree version a late one as well. It'd be that simple. This one is just blatantly pay to win. If you play Ground RB, it has almost the same loadouts, but you now do get JDAMs as well. Those usually aren't very useful because they can only target a specific one on the map, but I mean, hey, you may be able to snipe an SPAA with them, and it's literally just an option you don't get with the tech tree one at the moment. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you decide to get any of the premiums they're adding this update, by the way, you can get 3% off with my link in the description down below, and it helps me out too while getting you a cool decal. Catch y'all next time, and peace, y'all.